Well, hey there, my beautiful friend. It's Miriam Schulman here, and welcome back to my channel, The Inspiration Place. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 home decor trends in 2025 that are affecting the art market. So for that, stay tuned. Okay, so there are 3 big trends that are affecting the art market that I really want you as an artist to be on top of and be aware of. Number 1, the colors of luxury. So what I want you to understand as we're diving into these trends, especially the first one, is these trends they're not just about aesthetics. These are about how people are living now, how people are feeling, how people are expressing themselves through their spaces. And for those of you who are like, wait a minute, a true artist does not follow what's popular. I just want to remind you that Michelangelo was not painting impressionist paintings. He was not sculpting things like cause. He was creating art in the Renaissance style. Monet was not creating art in the Renaissance style. He was creating art in the Impressionist style. And Picasso was not doing Impressionism or Renaissance. So these 3 big names, who we would all agree, right, are true artists, were painting or creating art that was part of the moment. And true artists are always in conversation with what is happening. So let's start with our first trend, the colors of luxury. This is something that has started to pick up steam all along. We were calling it quiet luxury. I'm not quite sure if it's so quiet anymore. It's a little bit quiet luxury would be more like the minimalist with the beiges and the blacks. This definitely has more color. So Benjamin Moore has a color of the year that's cinnamon slate. Behr has a color of the year that is very similar. It's kind of a burgundy red. You're going to also see these colors in decorating, just like we talked about with the Pantone color of the year video, which we will link to that video in the show notes or the podcast, however you're consuming this content. So cinnamon slate, which is the color of the year for Benjamin Moore, it's kind of like a heathered plum. But when you look at Benjamin Moore's complete color palette, you're going to see those other colors too that other color forecasters name. So like there is a color that's very much like the mocha that is part of this color palette. So it's not a contradiction to what Pantone is saying. It's just which the color that they chose as the color of the year is different. But the palette is very similar to what Pantone was also telling us. It really shouldn't be surprised. They're using the same data to make their analysis. So this color palette, it's warmth, it's comfort, there's a sense of ease to it. So the types of colors you'll see, heathered plum, velvety brown, just like we talked about in the other video, terracotta, merlot, wine red. These are all rich, but they're soothing colors that make a space feel both luxurious and grounded. The other thing, and I saw this in an article in the Wall Street Journal, they were talking about how what's out are hues that are kind of tepid like, I think this was the pastel Scandi look, like maybe it was like a slight peach color or pink or coral or lavender. That's on its way out. What's in is these deeper colors, like maybe a sofa that is a deep velvet color. So let's talk about how you as an artist can tap into trend number 1, which is about color. Again, similar ideas to what I talked about inside of the Mocha Mousse video, but I'm going to show you different examples that feature more of this colors from the Benjamin Moore palette. Behr has a palette is similar to the Benjamin Moore, but I do notice there's a difference. The Benjamin Moore colors, they're more expensive looking, where the Behr ones, they're just not quite as refined. The colors are similar, but it has more of a less nuanced color. So it also happens to be a cheaper paint, but the color itself also looks cheaper. Okay, so talking about the color itself, first of all, think about adapting your color palette to include these trending hues. So whether you're creating abstract art, landscapes, portraits, jewelry, it doesn't matter. Think about how this color can influence your new body of work. So a painting that echoes cinnamon slate or terracotta can become the perfect anchor piece for a room that's designed around this quiet luxury trend. And that will make you more attractive to designers, decorators, or just sophisticated buyers that are in the know. And also some collectors who maybe they don't have their finger on the pulse of what's happening, but they're going to respond to these things more readily just because this is part of the cultural zeitgeist. This is what everyone is responding to. And that's why they were chosen as the color palette. Okay, the next thing that I want you to consider is how to use this color palette in your marketing materials. So it could be the color of your fonts and things like that. Sure. It could be the colors that you're using in your social media. Sure. But you really want to show how your art complements this palette. So let's just say you are a jeweler and you're using pearls and silver and gold, which don't have the color, but think about showing them on women who are wearing these colors or women who are in rooms with these colors, or showing them on a rich piece of velvet of these colors. This is going to help your buyers and collectors be more attracted naturally to your art on a more subliminal level. If you are a visual artist, as a visual artist in the sense of that you create art that is considered home decor, like paintings and sculptures, create mock-ups showing your art in spaces with ochre accents or a wine red sofa or a mocha colored sofa. This is going to help your buyer visualize how your art is going to fit seamlessly into modern decor. Trend number 2. Oh, this is a big one. Trend number 2 is murals and immersive scenery. So trend number 2 is big, bold, and breathtaking. And I'm so excited for all you muralists out there. This is not the child murals with dinosaurs or, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about immersive scenery. So remember when I was talking about the 2025 trends of the year, one of the trends was immersive experiences, and having a mural that makes your room into an immersive experience is part of that escape. It's also part of that trend I was talking about, how people want to connect more to nature. So to have these immersive scenery with trees or flowers or clouds on the ceiling, this is what's going to really connect. So some designers are turning to wallpapers for this. So if you are an artist who designs your art or makes your art for wallpaper, you could tap into the trend that way, or you can tap into it by offering your art as a mural if you're not already. If you're a painter, this is your opportunity to step out of the frame. And I always wanted where the wild things are experience in my home. In my home in Scarsdale, I actually had a bathroom where it wasn't a mural, but I decorated it with wallpaper that had these vines going up the walls because I loved where the wild things are. So I wanted that experience in this little powder room. And I've been thinking about hand painting that onto the walls in my hallway, although I did just recently paint the hallway. So we'll see. But I also have seen in my apartment building, some people have their doors painted by artists. So instead of painting the walls, they had the doors painted, which is super exciting. So just imagine creating a serene forest scene in a bedroom, a dramatic abstract ceiling for a dining room. Not only does this elevate your art practice to think about different things to do, but just think about the premium prices that you can command for bespoke, immersive wall art like this. Something for you to consider if you're not doing it already. Now, to market this, you're going to want to show your process. Okay, so you want to show your process. That could be showing initial sketches, showing your finished mural. You're going to share all of this in your emails. You're going to share all of this on social media, perhaps a time-lapse video of your mural project. And of course, don't forget to capture testimonials from happy clients who love their one-of-a-kind spaces. All right, trend number 3 is maximalism. Okay, I'm excited for this trend in spite of, okay, so I was filming before in that very white studio, so that calms me down in my studio. But where the trends are moving is moving away from home decor that looks like the Apple Store, which maybe is good for Kim Kardashian. So like Kim Kardashian's aesthetic is I have nothing because I have so much money. I don't need anything. And you see these billionaires and the only thing they have is like this big screen TV. Now, this trend of maximalism is good news for artists because the trend of the white room is going away. And this is something that always swings back and forth between that all white Apple Store look, but maximalism is about bold patterns, textures, layers. So you want to think about gallery walls with art, quirky objects, and just overall more is more aesthetic. One variation we're seeing on this is called cottagecore. Cottagecore is a mix of cozy, nostalgic, romantic vibes. So if your art tends to be more traditional, this is an aesthetic that could work for you to show your art. You can feature traditional landscape paintings in these cottage settings, making it feel warm and cozy, because that's really what people want. Now, this is your moment to shine if that is the kind of art you do. Create pieces and show them in a room that has that kind of layered approach. People decorating in a maximalist style are always looking for unique statement pieces, perhaps something unexpected. So it could be landscapes, but it could be like a nude right in the middle of their home. And this is a great trend, like I said, for artists because it means people are going to buy more art. Okay, and so now I have a bonus tip for you. This is about how to display your art in a way that perfectly complements the 2025 trend of maximalism. So I want you to think about this tip, not just of how to decorate your own home, which of course you can use it that way, but perhaps it's how to display art in your studio for an open studio. Perhaps it's how to set up your art booth so that really taps into this trend and people feel like your art speaks to them. So we want to create that curated chaos look that feels intentional, stylish, and very personal. Step 1, start with a focal piece. So first you want a focal piece. I do tell my artists in the incubator program that they always want a showcase piece that's going to attract attention. So whenever you're having showing at an art festival, you want that big piece, that bold artwork that's going to bring people in. Always start with that. So when you're setting up your booth, you're setting up your studio, or you're decorating your living room wall, you're going to start with that one focal piece. This is the biggest eye-catching artwork in your collection. It could be a statement artwork. It could be an abstract. It could be a portrait. It could be a bold landscape. And you want to hang it not center, but slightly off center to leave room for layering smaller pieces around it. The key is to anchor your wall with this one standout piece. Step 2, you want to mix sizes, shapes, and if you're doing this in your home, you're going to mix up the mediums. If you're doing this for an art show, you're probably not going to do that, but this is how that trend looks the best. So you're going to combine small and medium frames, different shapes perhaps, unexpected elements, like maybe you'll stick a mirror in your booth or in your studio wall just to break it up, just to show how this would look. Perhaps you're going to have woven baskets or wall sculptures. I have a brand new artist incubator member from Colorado who does some weavings. And when we were on our VIP call, she was wondering if she should just focus on her art, which she should, by the way. But having some of these wall hangings in her booth space is really going to create that maximalist aesthetic that art collectors are drawn to right now. So there's no reason why she shouldn't have that in her booth, even though her primary focus, Carrie, if you're listening, is your art. So this will create a rich layered look that's going to draw the eye in and keep things interesting. Okay, step 3, playing with color and theme. So while maximalism is about variety, tying your gallery wall together with a color palette or a theme is going to keep it cohesive. Now, we've been talking about these warm hues from the quiet luxury trend, like cinnamon, slate, terracotta, merlot, all those colors that I've been sharing with you from Benjamin Moore or mocha. So a hint is to let that palette guide your choices, but you don't have to. If you're a fan of nature, you can curate pieces that reflect landscapes, botanicals, earthly textures. If you are a bold floral artist, perhaps you have a brighter color palette. Step 4, you want to add layers for depth. So that true layered effect is thinking beyond the flat walls. So perhaps it's adding a picture ledge to your studio space, or staggering frames or smaller pieces. Another thing is that having that book luxury, it's called, where you have the bookcase luxury look, where you have paintings on top of the bookcase. That is very much on trend. And these are ways you can also be showing your art in situ in rooms. So perhaps you're showing your art with other stuff. You can lean unframed canvases against the wall for a casual, collected vibe. And all of these layers add depth and will make the wall feel dynamic and alive. Okay, step 5 is embrace the unexpected. So finally, don't be afraid to get personal and playful, adding a mix of art, adding a mix of vintage things, sentimental pieces like travel photos, handwritten quotes, creating like a really personal gallery wall in your home or in your studio is a beautiful idea. And these unexpected touches tell a story that will make your gallery wall uniquely yours. So there you have it. That's the gallery wall that perfectly embodies the maximalist spirit of 2025. It's bold, layered, bursting with personality. So whether you're an artist designing art for your studio or for clients or helping your collectors envision your work in their home, this approach is guaranteed to make an impact. And now let's just sum up about our trends. So from quiet luxury to immersive murals to the bold beauty of maximalism, 2025 decor trends are brimming with opportunities for artists. So whether you adapt your color palette, expand your offerings, or get creative with your marketing, these trends can help your art resonate with collectors and elevate your business. So I want to hear from you. Which of these trends are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you follow this video if you want to get more videos just like this one. So thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for more tips on growing your art business. Until next time, stay inspired. Bye for now.